This Gipsy Moth is a famous plane. In 1931, it held the record for flying in the fastest time from England to Australia, smashing the previous records held by the famous Australian aviators Bert Hinkler and Charles Kingsford Smith. So how did this little biplane get involved in such thrilling exploits? Well, it all started around 1930, when flying captured the hearts and minds of fearless men and women. There's the Australian Charles Kingsford Smith, who set the record for flying across the Pacific Ocean from California to Australia in his plane, the Southern Cross, in 1928. In the same year, Bert Hinkler, the famous son of Bundaberg in Queensland, was the first aviator to fly solo from England to Australia. Amy Johnson, a young British aviator, wanted to beat Bert Hinkler's record. So in 1930, she flew solo in a Gipsy Moth from England to Australia in the record time of 19.5 days. But the first lady of the skies in Australia is Nancy Bird Walton, also known as the Angel of the Outback. At the age of 19, she was the youngest woman in the British Empire to gain a pilot's license. What drove these people to these amazing feats? Well, it was their passion for flying. They all had an intense, almost single-minded focus on flying. They had a purpose that, combined with boundless energy, their skills and willpower to overcome daunting obstacles, allowed them to achieve remarkable flying records. Another person who followed his passion was Ed Field, a former pilot, flight simulator and instructor and examiner for Boeing. He had a passion for planes and in particular the Gipsy Moth. This Gipsy Moth, the record-breaking plane from the 1930s, had been severely damaged in a storm and written off by the insurer. It ended up abandoned in a large farm shed. When Ed heard about the plane, he bought the Gipsy Moth wreck and lovingly restored it to its perfect condition. Here it proudly stands in the Warplanes Museum in Caboolture. This plane was taken from a scrap heap to a place of honour, a tribute to one man's passion for the grand little planes of yesteryear. Now, we all recognise and admire passionate people who follow their dreams with purpose and conviction. So how do we find our passion? How do we find what really sparks our interest and encourages us to conquer insurmountable odds? Well, here are 6 simple clues that tell you that you've found your passion. 1, you really enjoy what you are doing. You can't wait to start your work. 2, you receive positive feedback about what you're doing. 3, you're constantly looking for ways to upskill and improve your knowledge. 4, you lose track of time when you are working on it. 5, you find your activity easy and fulfilling. 6, you get back after a setback and keep going. Paul the Apostle knew what it was like to be passionate about something, to focus on just one thing. He wrote, "But this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press forward toward the mark of the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus." We're reminded that as we train ourselves to run the race of life, we need to be passionate about keeping our eyes on Christ, the goal, and don't get sidetracked or slowed down. When we do this, the reward will be eternity with Christ in His kingdom. There will be challenges along the way. It's not easy. But if we are passionate and focus on Christ, He will get us through. God never said the journey would be easy, but He did say that the arrival would be worthwhile. Living the Christian life demands all of our energy and focus. So how do we establish a passion for Jesus and remain focused on Him? Well, here are 4 simple ways to stay focused on Jesus. 1. Read the Bible and reflect on His teachings and deeds. 2. Obey His teachings and guidelines. 3. Spend time in praying and communicating with Jesus. And 4. Share Jesus with others. If you would like to strengthen your relationship with Jesus and be focused and passionate about Him, then I'd like to recommend the free gift we have for you today. It's the popular Bible reading guide, Bridge to a Satisfying Life. Just go to our Incredible Journey website, tij.tv, to request your free Bible reading guide now.